the Sandbar Wildlife Zone, and we're talking about the WIS law that was passed in 2007. Joining me now is Mark, who is a chief officer with the Environment Department, who's going to go through some of the laws. We have lots and lots of boats here, but I'm guessing that a lot of people are up to date with what some of the laws are, and that one is limited of boats that are visiting the sandbar at one time.
Yes, that's right. The laws and regulations out here are in two parts. There's actually the regulations which apply to everyone, and then there are the conditions as part of the tourist boat licenses for the commercial boats. As part of those conditions, there's several things with the numbers. There are 100 persons per boat is a maximum number that each boat can bring. There's no vessels allowed to come in if there's already 20 vessels here. So 20 is the maximum, and 1,500 persons in the water is the maximum for the guests. The conditions also cover the what type of food they can feed the stingrays, the amounts of food, who can feed them. It has quite a bit of things tied in on the condition, like of the boats, as well as having holding tanks and other conditions to keep the whole environment safe out here.
Who is allowed to feed these stingrays when a boat does come out with, say, 100 visitors? Okay,
according to from the conditions set by the Marine Conservation Board, only the crew basically can feed the stingrays. There's supposed to be a designated feeding station, which most of them have a bucket with a float on it, with the food in it. We know there are instances it's hard for the crew to watch 100 people on a boat or even 30 people on a boat. So there are instances of guests grabbing squid and feeding the rays themselves. But most of the feeding is done by the crew. You know, of course, our offices out here, we now have a full-time officer out here, so he's always there to talk to persons as well outside the circle who are grabbing it, and that's part of his job, is to educate them as well and why the laws are here and why they should be obeying them.
Now, you mentioned officers being out here, and are they out here 7 days a week? What's their schedule like?
Well, we have one officer, Ivan Monteith, who just started with us a few months ago, and he is here full-time during the week for the 5 days. What we've tried to go along with is the days with the most cruise ships. So Monday to Friday he is out here, usually between 8:30 and 3:30, and he is then on weekends when he is off, the regular North Sound patrol officer does checks on the WIS zone to ensure that the laws are still being adhered to. And one thing that has to be done on the weekends is that after 2 o'clock on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, no commercial vessel is allowed to come to the sandbar or bring paying passengers to the sandbar. And also after 3 o'clock on public holidays. So those times in the afternoon are reserved for private boats to come out and have, families can enjoy their own fun, as has always been a tradition here in Cayman.
Does the laws also apply to private boaters that come out here on the weekends and enjoy themselves?
Absolutely, that's the regulations part. That part does apply to everyone. It covers everything from no anchoring shallower than 3 feet, to no wearing footwear shallower than 4 feet. Fins can be worn deeper than 4 feet in the WIS, but other than that, no footwear in the water. And there are several. There's no lifting of the rays or any marine life out of the water is one of the main important ones, of course.
Wow, and that's something that so many people get used to doing, is picking up the stingrays and trying to feed them, looking underneath them, taking pictures with them. So that's no longer allowed.
Exactly. We had a few research teams down here, and basically their conclusion said that this is damaging the rays. We know the excuse is, oh, it's been done for many decades and it doesn't seem to hurt them. In actual fact, it is damaging them. They are found with the sharks, and they're just basically cartilage, not a lot of hard bone. So when you lift their weight out, you've got rays out here up to 100 pounds, it does cause damage to the cartilage.
All right. If someone would like to know more about the conservation law that's in place now, how do they go about getting this information?
We have specific brochures made up for all our laws. There is a general brochure and one specifically for the Sandbar WIS zone. Both of these can be picked up at the Department of Environment on North Sound Road and the Cayman Islands Environmental Building. Also, some of the fishing stores and supply stores have them there as well. And also they can go to our website, which is www.doe.ky. And we have all of those brochures on there.
All right. And I guess at the end of the day, the important thing is that anyone that operates a boat in these waters should really get to know the law.
Absolutely. I mean, not only does the regulations part carry our mandatory up to 500,000 a year in jail, and loss of equipment, which in this case could be boat, for repeated offences. But as for the tourist boat licenses, they can go before the board even on the conditions. They face the possibility of losing the license, which would then mean under the regulations that they can't come to the sandbar. So we're talking about losing your livelihood, which is something we don't want to have to happen. So they really need to read up on these laws, have any new crew instructed on the laws, and make sure they obey them.
Well, it's been hard work for the operation and enforcement officers, but they're doing a really good job, and we're really thankful that we're able to come out here and see exactly what they've done for the past couple of weeks. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more Daybreak, so stay with us.